So the relationship with Trump and Elon Musk has been getting worse by the minute, and it looks like there's a 50% chance that it may not ever recover. Now I say 50% because we actually get something interesting that we saw from a post from Elon Musk just a few moments ago, which I'll share. Make sure to watch this video in its entirety because there's a couple of twists and turns that are a bit interesting. But we got to talk about what's going on, what led to all this. Of course, we talk about Tesla stock very often on this channel. Tesla stock from the close of yesterday to the close of today is down a little over 15%. And we'll go ahead and touch on why Tesla stock is pretty much dropping like a rock here. But we have to talk about the catalyst for this all, which was the big, beautiful bill, which Elon Musk has been very vocal on. He's been kind of opposed by it, calling it disgusting, disturbing, and there's a few reasons why, right? Of course, one reason is that Elon Musk is, complaining that this is a big fiscal concern, right? Musk has publicly criticized the bill, saying it's an abomination and kind of warning that it could add between 2.4 trillion and 5 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. Now, that's what Elon Musk has been kind of posting about, although entirely just my opinion, right? I don't think that's what Elon Musk is really worried about. I don't think he's as patriotic as maybe he'd like to kind of portray himself. And I believe that it's a bit more of the business implications, right? Because the bill, interestingly enough, proposes eliminating electric vehicle tax credits, which directly impact Tesla, right? Because obviously Tesla gets these government tax credits, which helps the business thrive. And while, Musk has previously, expressed skepticism of subsidies, right? The abrupt removal of these credits, it could cause Tesla stock billions and billions of dollars and really impact the broader EV market. So I think that's kind of the main catalyst. But of course, we also have the whole initiative with Doge, right? Of course, Elon Musk has recently departed from Doge. His time is done. But this bill kind of undermines everything that was being done by Doge. Now, we could talk about whether or not Doge was actually doing anything good, right? Or anything at all, right? That's a different story for a different day. But this bill kind of just undermines the whole idea of cutting, as the whole idea for this bill is just spend like a drunken sailor, right? I mean, let's be frank here. But let's go ahead and parse through some recent posts because things have developed and gotten pretty crazy. For example, we started off at one part of the day where Elon Musk made this post saying, "Where is the man who wrote these words?" Right? Was he replaced by a body double? Kind of suggesting that maybe this is not the real Trump, right? Kind of saying like, who is this man? I don't know this man, because we see posts from Trump in 2013 saying, "I can't believe the Republicans are extending the debt ceiling. I am a Republican and I am embarrassed," right? 2012, "No member of Congress should be eligible for re-election in our country. Budget is not balanced," right? If our country's budget is not balanced, deficit's not allowed, right? Again, 2012, kind of the same thing, right? So Elon Musk, had responded to these, tweets that were made nearly over a decade ago, actually, right? Over a decade ago. And so, Elon Musk is saying, yo, who is this guy, right? Is this a body double? Because this is not the same guy who complained about spending before and now he's spending, right? Then we have this portion over here where Trump kind of, responds back and he says, "Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that no one else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy." Now, it's a bit interesting because if you guys don't remember, we nearly had a Tesla infomercial commercial at the White House, right? When people were attacking the Tesla vehicles, keying them, burning down dealerships, and Trump was like, "Look, Teslas are great cars." And now we have Trump kind of, bashing electric vehicles again, right? And this isn't the first time. Trump before in the past has said, "Look, these electric vehicles are garbage. No one wants them." Then, he became very buddy-buddy with Elon Musk. Then all of a sudden, Teslas were amazing vehicles, great cars. And now we're back to, well, no one really wants them and they're forced to buy them, right? So pretty interesting. Now, Elon Musk responded, "Such an obvious lie. So sad," right? Okay. Well, here's where things get a bit crazy because Elon Musk said, time to drop the really big bomb. And he adds, Donald Trump, and he says, "Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public." Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump, right? So kind of crazy because this is something that you kind of can't walk back from, right? I mean, I almost feel like me just saying this name is gonna get this video, taken down, right? Can't say much, but it's not good to be associated with this guy, right? Not good at all. It takes a lot of credibility away from Trump, which, let's be honest, right? We already kind of suspected that there may be something with this, as there's been, multiple photographs of Trump and this gentleman in the past. Trump has even been quoted saying, he's a good guy, and he hangs out with a lot of young women, right? And this was before everything came out, so pretty interesting. I'm just clicking on Trump's profile because I saw one time someone earlier, just a few moments ago, said that he was banned. He's definitely not banned. He still has an active account on X. So, just FYI, we're just debunking that. But then we go ahead and hear some more, kind of back and forth with them. We have Trump mentioning that the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's government subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. So pretty interesting, right? Because now we have Trump, of course he's upset of what, Musk just said about Epstein, right? So now all of a sudden we're hearing Trump saying, look, we need to take everything away from Elon, which, it's not going to make Elon broke by any means, right? But it's going to hurt and damage a lot of the companies severely, right? So then Musk, responded saying, in light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. So pretty interesting, right? Some more back and forth. But then where things kind of get a bit interesting is we have Bill Ackman, right, hedge fund manager, saying, I support Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and they should make peace for the benefit of our great country. We are much stronger together than apart. And then we end up hearing, someone, Heidi, I'm not sure if she's anyone that's of any notoriety, but she says, please make up, don't kiss though. Musk, responds with a laughing emoji. And I believe there was one reply recently where Musk mentioned that he's not going to actually decommission anything with SpaceX. So kind of seems like maybe there's some backpedaling, right, between this rivalry, and kind of saying, hey, look, I said some mean things, I'm sorry. Which, if they end up rekindling the relationship, all power to them, right? Sometimes there's some things that you say and you can't take back, but doesn't mean that things can't move forward, right? At the end of the day, anything is possible, right? But at this moment, right, I am not very optimistic that they're ever going to be okay, because even if Elon Musk extends a hand, it's not just one person, right? It's two people in this rivalry, and it's two people with a large ego. We know that Trump has a very large ego, and I don't think he's going to be able to come back from what Elon Musk had recently posted for today, especially the Epstein. Oh my goodness, it was crazy. But going to Tesla stock, right? Tesla stock, it's kind of pushing up, right? But it's still kind of just near where it closed for the day. Again, one of the main reasons Tesla stock is falling down is because we know that June was supposed to be where we have, FSD and robo-taxi, events taking place, and, we actually have it supposedly scaling up. Well, I mean, if this rivalry continues, Trump can easily say no, right? Let's make regulation much more tough for Tesla. Teslas should not be driving on the road with no driver in the driver's seat. And honestly, we could have much more damage take place to Elon, which kind of is very unfortunate, because we know that Elon, the damage for Tesla has been already pretty crazy. Let's actually go to a daily time frame, right? Because we know that Elon Musk, he helped Trump win the election by donating a significant amount. Tesla stock ran up to these euphoric highs. I mentioned how Tesla stock was very overvalued at these areas, and that was likely to fall down. Of course, no one believed me, right? People were like, no, you're crazy. Trump is going to help Elon, and Tesla's, everyone's going to buy a Tesla. Well, ended up not being the case. The fundamentals were still pretty bad for Tesla, and in fact, we had this brand damage that may never come back. And then we started to see, the markets kind of pushing up, Tesla rebounding, and we're kind of seeing it all give it back away. Now, we are kind of holding above this area, which is the $172.54 area, which looks like it could be an area of support. But honestly, the fundamentals for Tesla are not looking good. The brand damage is kind of getting bad and beaten on both sides, right? At one time, it was just Elon pissing off a bunch of liberals, right? Now we kind of have Elon Musk kind of pissing off a bunch of MAGA, Republicans, and so it's like almost like you're cannibalizing, your entire total addressable market, right? It's almost like, liberals were putting stickers under Tesla saying, look, I bought this before Elon went crazy. And now let's say if there were any conservatives who bought Teslas, they're probably going to put the same sticker. This was before Elon wasn't cool with Trump anymore, right? So it's kind of like two separate groups may not be cool with Elon. So this is like horrible brand damage. Hopefully, of course, the drama is amazing, right? But of course, I don't want, I could care less about drama. I'd rather our country be ran correctly and probably not continue spending and likely, do the right thing. But of course, all politicians, no matter what side, the left, the right, they're honestly in their own self-interest, never really gonna, and this is me not trying to be overly pessimistic, but I don't have much faith, right, for the future of America. Hopefully I'm wrong. 100% I hope I'm wrong. But with that said, let me know in the comment section down below, do you believe that they will be able to rekindle the relationship, or is it completely over? You guys let me know in the comment section down below. And with that said, I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care, guys.